I am a great philanthropist. So when Song Linan told me that the love of his life was my concubine, born older sister, I decisively sent him to meet his maker. Eldest sister is dead. Since you are so infatuated, go die for love. No need to thank me. I just love helping people fulfill their wishes. I opened my eyes. Back on the day of the engagement, Song Linan glared at me, humiliating me right then and there. My Song family will only marry truly kind women. We will never let a wicked woman in. He broke off the engagement, making me the laughingstock of the whole city. It also earned me the title of a wicked woman. Song Linan schemed to marry my older half-sister. I, on the other hand, had no takers. On the day of the return visit, Song Linan mocked me. Everyone knows your true colors now. I'd like to see who else you can go and ruin. I just smiled and said nothing. This moron. In my past life, I lived to be 80, while he croaked at 20. I know too many things that he doesn't. I am just too kind-hearted. So, when I realized my husband's family had backed the wrong side, I cleanly and decisively placed righteousness above family ties. Just to save the entire Song clan, I knelt before the new emperor and presented all the evidence of their crimes. The new emperor granted a general amnesty. Only Song Linan of the Song family had to die. When I carried the arsenic to see Song Linan, he was looking dejected. He stopped pretending, took out a portrait of my concubine, born sister, and cried until his eyes were red and swollen. He muttered, "You and I have no destiny in this life. We can only meet again in the next. My concubine, born sister, died yesterday. She died from a difficult childbirth." Song Linan had suppressed this love for a long time. Even I felt it was a pity just watching. Itsuke, I really am soft-hearted. Because of this, I didn't have the heart to tell Song Linan that his aunt the Empress had passed away. His cousin the Crown Prince was gone too. My father-in-law was assassinated, and my mother-in-law died from the shock. The one ascending the throne is the second prince. Outside the door, the palace slaves were still waiting for the result. I had no choice but to bring the arsenic to Song Linan's lips. Eldest sister is dead. Since you are so devoted, go die for love. No need to thank me. I just love helping people out. I never did tell him those shitty things. His eyes widened. He died with them staring open. In fact, he even tried to struggle as he swallowed the arsenic. But better a short pain than a long one. I am doing this to relieve his suffering. You vicious woman. Spitting out those last two words, Song Linan was gone for good. I couldn't help but feel sad. I did all this for the Song family, and for him too. Yet he turned around and called me a vicious woman. Luckily, after Song Linan died, the new emperor didn't hold it against the Song family. A few months later, the concubine gave birth to a son, and I became a mother without any pain. Under my arrangements, the concubine's son was adopted under my name. He passed the imperial exams smoothly to become an official, raised perfectly by me. In my hands, the Song family was restored to its former glory. I lived to be 80. I kept a few male lovers along the way, and life went fairly smoothly before I died. My house was filled with descendants, 20 or 30 children and grandchildren surrounded me, weeping bitterly. It was likely my kindness that moved the heavens, granting me a peaceful end in this life. Opening my eyes again, I met Song Linan's glaring gaze. He was somewhat out of control. My Song family will never let a wicked woman through the door. I will only marry a truly kind woman. With that, Song Linan looked toward her older half-sister. I looked around, only then realizing I'd undergone rebirth, and I was even reborn back to the day of the engagement. I want to call off this verbal childhood betrothal. Originally, today was supposed to be the day the two families officially finalized the engagement. In the previous life, although Song Linan adored my concubine, born sister, he always suppressed that affection due to my legitimate status. From the looks of it, he has also undergone rebirth. For a kind-hearted person like me, There is no reason to pester relentlessly. I can only grant his wish. Fine. Since young Master Song is determined to break the engagement, I won't force it. I wish young Master Song finds a good match soon and has a house full of children and grandchildren. I offered my blessings with all sincerity. Song Linan, however, lost his composure on the spot. "Shut up, you poisonous woman. Don't think you can still bewitch me." I was dumbfounded. Thus, saying more would be useless, so I covered my lips with a handkerchief to hide my expression. In this life, without me denouncing the Song family and placing righteousness above family ties, how could the new emperor spare them in the future? It is not that I wasn't willing to save the Song family. It is that Song Linan didn't give me the chance. Given Song Linan's one-sided story, the Song family naturally didn't believe I was a venomous woman, so they compensated me with 2 shops. To put the Song family at ease, I had no choice but to accept this compensation. I always genuinely think of others. It is not appropriate for Song Linan to directly propose to my concubine, born sister for the time being, to avoid being criticized. He wasn't stupid beyond saving, at least, but this man was truly no gentleman. After leaving the Wei Manor, he went all out spreading rumors to slander my reputation. He was dead set on branding me a wicked woman. Grandmother and father felt sorry for me, so they gifted me another estate. The concubine already knew about the matter between my older half-sister and Song Linan. She felt deeply guilty towards me and spent several nights in a row sewing new clothes for spring, summer, autumn, and winter for me. I sincerely advised Auntie. Song Linan is a fickle man and not a good match. Auntie, you really should persuade sister. The main thing is, the Song family will be wiped out sooner or later. Why should my beautiful sister go throw her life away? Auntie was moved to tears, yet a trace of gloom flashed in her eyes. She almost gritted her teeth. It is truly kind of you to worry so wholeheartedly about your older sister. I nodded. It is only right. I can't stand seeing others throw their lives away. But no sooner had I persuaded Yin Yang than she turned around and arranged for my older half, sister, to have a tryst with Song Linan. I was utterly heartbroken. In my grief and indignation, I angrily gnawed on a soy-braised duck from Chunk Pavilion and said to Xiaotao, "I've done my best. It is my older half-sister who won't listen to reason. If she dies in the future, she certainly can't blame me." Xiaotao deeply agreed. "Miss is so beautiful and kind-hearted. How could you be wrong? It is all their fault." Xiaotao's words reminded me. Since I am so kind-hearted, there is no reason not to help that wretched couple get together. So, when Song Linan was meeting my concubine, born older sister, in private again, I ordered people to invite the noble ladies of the capital in advance, and under the guise of watching a play, I made everyone witness the affair between Song Linan and my sister with their own eyes. Now, the Wei and Song families have to discuss marriage arrangements again. Song Linan can finally marry the one he loves. My concubine, born sister, can finally marry up too. Everyone's happy. A living bodhisattva like me is rare in this world. I am almost moved to tears by myself. I stood outside the wing room door, wiped away non-existent tears with a handkerchief, and flashed a brilliant smile at Song Linan and my concubine. Born sister, being moved to tears by myself is one thing, but I genuinely wish the two of them well. But my concubine, born sister, glared at me with a look full of venomous resentment. Song Linan even pointed at me in rage. "It is you again, you vicious woman." I was completely baffled. He is slandering me. My good intentions were taken for malice. Heartbroken by the two of them, I threw myself into a noble lady's arms and wailed. I don't know who started wagging their tongues, insisting that I was deceived by Song Linan and my concubine, born sister, conspiring together. The rumors spread like wildfire. Within 3 days, the whole capital knew that the reason Song Linan broke off our engagement was because he was having a secret affair with my concubine, born sister. The two of them became like rats crossing the street, with everyone shouting to beat them. Naturally, I couldn't just sit there and wait to die. So I cried and begged, going everywhere to put in a good word for Song Linan and my older half-sister. This has nothing to do with my older half-sister and young Master Song. If you want to scold someone, just scold me alone. It is all my fault. What could possibly be wrong with people who truly love each other? I inexplicably had the title of Wicked Woman stripped from me. Among the capital's elite, quite a few young masters showed interest in me. They praised my beauty and my kind heart. My reputation has improved like never before. Sigh, I don't know how things got to this point either. Could it be that good deeds really do get rewarded? Song Linan is the Empress's own nephew, the Crown Prince's cousin, and the Song family's eldest legitimate son. He declared that he would make my concubine, born sister, his official wife. It shows just how much he values my concubine, born sister. No wonder my concubine, born sister, has been crying non-stop since the incident that day. She is probably deeply moved. Even if grandmother enforced family discipline on her and refused to prepare a dowry, my older half-sister was determined to marry him no matter what. In that case, it was even harder for me to remind her that the Song family would meet with disaster in the future. If I did that, I would more or less be suspected of breaking up the lovebirds. Besides, what does losing one's life matter? What Song Linan and my older half-sister care about most is only the true love between them. True love is supreme. Long live true love. On this day, I discovered that the concubine had embezzled the kitchen funds. I ordered someone to call her over. The concubine actually admitted it, and even started acting arrogant. She was no longer meek and submissive, nor did she continue to pretend to be kind. These people, are all fake nice. Unlike me, I am genuinely kind. The concubine puffed out her chest proudly, looking down at me with her phoenix eyes. My daughter is about to marry up into the Song family of the Duke's mansion. The Wei family refused to provide a dowry, so I had to scrape it together. Don't you push people too far in the future. My daughter and son-in-law definitely won't let you off. I sighed. The concubine was my mother's dowry maid, but before my mother even got pregnant, she climbed into my father's bed. She wasn't kind at all. I shook my head helplessly, angry at Aunt for not standing up for herself. I earnestly lectured her, "Aunt, in life, being too arrogant will destroy you. How can I just stand by and watch you willingly fall into depravity?" The concubine swayed, and she couldn't even speak properly. Look, I just can't keep giving her a good face. Otherwise, she simply won't figure out her own status and position. I lightly waved my hand. The concubine is disrespectful to the legitimate daughter. This is a failure to distinguish between the legitimate and the common. Nowadays, the Wei family is under my charge. Her rudeness to the head of the household is a breach of etiquette. Someone slap her mouth. The concubine was restrained, and the old female servant stepped forward and began to slap her. I stood before the concubine and stretched lazily. "No need to thank me. Don't worry. I will discipline you well. With me here, nothing will go wrong." The concubine was beaten into a pig's head. She doesn't glare or yell at me anymore. That is more like it. I've stripped away every single one of her thorns. The legitimate are legitimate. The concubine, born are concubine. Born, it is best not to overstep. Before the grand wedding, my concubine, for the past dozen years, the concubine mother practically raised her to be a Yangzhou thin horse, causing her frame to be extremely frail. Men do indeed like delicate beauties like my concubine, born sister, but delicate beauties are prone to ending up as one corpse, two lives. The Wei family still has 3 female cousins who are unmarried. My concubine, born sister, has already brought shame to the Wei family girls. I am not only worried that her premarital pregnancy will cost her life, but I am also anxious about my cousin's marriage prospects. After thinking it over, the only solution is to get rid of my concubine, born sister's child. I went to see my concubine, born sister, in person. My concubine, born sister, was holding a hairpin. She obviously knew she was pregnant. She held the hairpin against her neck with one hand while caressing her lower belly with the other. Me concubine, born sister's face was streaked with tears. If you dare hurt my child, I'll die right here. Aetsuke, does she not want her life anymore? I am doing all this for her sake, I said earnestly. Sister, giving birth before 20 is harmful to a woman's body. Besides, you are so frail. What if you have a difficult labor later? Even though you stole my marriage, I don't want you to die. After saying that, I added sincerely, Sister, I really am doing this for your own good. In the future, when the Song family meets with disaster, I can be the first to denounce them, then use that merit to save my half-sister's little life. But if she has a difficult labor while giving birth, I'll be helpless. My half-sister's pale little face was filled with resentment. You just hold a grudge against me. That must be it. You hurt my concubine mother, and now you want to come after me. On what grounds? Both you and I are father's daughters, so what gives you the right to bully me at every turn? I was rendered speechless. I found myself unable to utter a single word about the fact that my half-sister would die from a difficult labor. I've tried my best. Sigh, I am mentally exhausted. In any relationship, once all enthusiasm is exhausted, one will retreat. I poured the abortion medicine into the potted plant and sighed. Sister, then take good care of yourself. No matter what, you are still my sister. In the future, I will collect her body. As for my 3 younger female cousins, they had previously mocked me for being unable to get married, calling me a wicked woman. Now they probably won't be able to get married either. After all, the reputation of the Wei family girls has been ruined by my half-sister. I, the eldest legitimate daughter of the first branch, wholeheartedly wanted to save them, yet no one appreciated it. Kind-hearted people are always let down. Let it be, let it be. When Song Linan learned that my half-sister was pregnant, he moved up the wedding. For the sake of my half-sister's dignity, Song Linan paid out of his own pocket to prepare a dowry for her. Alas, the amount of the dowry was still limited. There weren't many guests who came to attend the wedding banquet either. Many dignitaries collectively claimed to be unwell, and merely sent servants to deliver congratulatory gifts. The Song family felt completely humiliated. I heard the wedding escort report back that as soon as concubine, born sister, entered the door, she was mistreated by the old women. Pregnant as she is, she still had to step over a fire basin 3 times, nearly burning her skirt hem. I couldn't help but worry about concubine, born sister's situation. My mother, in-law from my past life, is no pushover. Only a woman like me can keep her in check. Concubine-born sister has jumped into a fire pit. True love ruins people. After the grand wedding, Song Linan could be said to have gotten what he wanted. He also made up for the regrets of his past life. I am genuinely happy for him. After all, his good days are numbered. I am a broad-minded person, so naturally, I don't hold grudges, especially against someone destined to die in a few years. But, on the day this guy brought my concubine, born sister, back for her return visit, he glared at me coldly. He looked radiant with joy, yet his eyes seemed to betray the bleakness and loneliness of the northern desert. I beamed a smile. Brother, in-law, haven't you been sleeping well these past few days? Song Linan reacted like his tail had been stepped on. Wei Yan, others don't know your true colors. But I know them crystal clear. Stop pretending to be a good person in front of me. It was only then that I suddenly remembered Song Linan had been impeached by the censors, and even the crown prince had been implicated by him. He hasn't had an easy time these past few days. I smiled awkwardly and said, Brother-in-law, eat whatever you want, drink whatever you want. There is no plenty of time left. Song Linan's eyes widened, his nostrils flared, and he stormed off, flinging his sleeves in anger, not forgetting to curse. Vicious woman. Heaven be my witness. How exactly am I vicious? Even Dewey wasn't as wronged as I am. Song Linan began his frenzied revenge against me. He couldn't do anything to me directly, but he could spread rumors everywhere to smear my reputation. But it doesn't matter. I have always been magnanimous. Right now, there are more important matters that require my attention. Although the second prince was the final winner in the battle for the throne, he also went through untold hardships. A while back, the situation at the border became critical. The second prince led 50,000 troops to hold the line and has been there ever since. The empress and the crown prince are wary of the second prince, so they schemed in secret to cut off the timely supply of provisions. Right now, the second prince is in dire straits. As it happens, though I have no grand ambitions, I am quite the little expert at business. I can't directly touch the Wei family's silver, but I can use my own personal stash to support the second prince. Anyway, I'll do the second prince a favor now, so I can save my own skin later. Before leaving the capital, I went before my grandmother and father and tearfully poured out my grievances. First, my marriage was snatched away, then my reputation was ruined. Now I just want to go to the estate for some peace and quiet. I hope grandmother and father will allow it. I wept bitterly. Grandmother and father were also moved. Father took his anger out on the concubine because of this, and beat her again. Look at the good daughter you raised, seducing her own sister's fiancé. She is married up now, but how are the other Wei family girls supposed to conduct themselves? The concubine was rendered speechless. I also had enough reason to smoothly leave the capital city. 3 days later, the managers from the various shops came to see me, their attitude quite respectful. Who told me to give too much usually? Master, the supplies are all ready. There are medicinal herbs, rice and oil, dried meat, cotton, padded clothes. Everything you wanted is fully prepared. I wasn't in a hurry to rush to the frontier. You know, when heaven is about to place a great responsibility on a man, it first tests his will and exhausts his body. Since the second prince is the chosen one, he ought to suffer a little. My slow arrival was also to test his character. So, when the second prince was forced to his limit and was just about to meet his maker, I descended from the sky as if riding on multicolored, auspicious clouds. I squatted down, cradled the second prince's head, and smiled gently. Your Highness, your subject Wei Yan has come to save you. My accompanying guards were top-notch experts. They escorted the second prince all the way back to our camp, saving his eyebrows. In the previous life, the second prince was slashed by the enemy, cutting his left eyebrow, and he nearly went blind in one eye. With or without me, the second prince would have escaped. But with me, the second prince had a bit more warmth. Wei Yan. Even while unconscious, he was murmuring my name. As expected of the ultimate winner, the second prince is just like me, kind-hearted and knows gratitude. When the second prince woke up, I happened to be bringing in shredded chicken porridge. His sharp, dark eyes were tinged with a hint of tenderness. When people are in the most critical situations, it is easy for them to reveal their fragile side. I truly felt my heart ache for him, so I personally fed him porridge. My merchant caravan happened to be passing through a nearby town. Hearing that Your Highness was fighting to the death against the enemy, I came to lend Your Highness a hand. Your Highness must make sure to nurse yourself back to health, then wipe out the enemy forces in one fell swoop. Having said this, I knitted my brows in thought, then added, there is something. I don't know if I should say it or not. The second prince's reputation isn't too good either. According to rumors, he is violent and bloodthirsty, and his temper is unpredictable. But at this moment, his eyes were full of tenderness, and there was still rice porridge on his lips. Miss Wei, if you have something to say, just say it. I lied, claiming that I had accidentally overheard the conversation between Song Linan and the crown prince. I told him about the imperial court withholding provisions. I am not a tattletale. I did it purely to prevent the Song family from making mistake after mistake. Besides, as the victim, the second prince has the right to know. Murderous intent flashed in the second prince's eyes. The next moment, I held the second prince's hand. But rest assured, Your Highness, I can provide supplies to help Your Highness win this battle. After saying that, I personally wiped the rice porridge from the corner of the second prince's lips. The second prince's pale face finally regained some color. I didn't stay in the military camp for too long. Once the second prince could get out of bed, I bid him farewell. I waved my hand, left behind a huge pile of supplies, and took my attendants to leave. The carriage had driven quite far when I lifted the curtain and glimpsed the second prince still standing in the distance, watching me go. In my past life, my wealth rivaled the nation's, and the reason the emperor was always quite tolerant of me was that I would offer up half of my revenue every year. Thinking about it this way, in both my past life and this one, I've been the second prince's financial backer. The matter at the border pass is settled. Next, I ordered my attendants to head to a nearby town. That is right. This trip wasn't just for the second prince. I found a coffin shop, then quietly waited. Until around evening, a scrawny boy was beaten out. The shopkeeper punched and kicked him. You good, for nothing wastrel. If it weren't for your mother's sake, I would have beaten you to death long ago. You still dare to skim off the top from me. I am your stepfather and your master. The boy was backed into a corner. He cowered into a ball, bruised black and blue all over. Xiao Tao didn't understand and asked, Miss, we've been staking out here for the better part of the day. Just for him. I held a hand warmer in my arms, smiling without saying a word. Yes, it was just for him. Xiao Zuo was my nemesis in my past life. He was even better at making money than me. It is a pity his ambition was too big. After rising to power, he didn't know how to hide his edge, which made the emperor wary of him. And finally, his head rolled. He was a great talent, and I cherish talent. The guard brought him before me, and the boy's black eyes stared straight at the pastries in front of me. Before letting him eat his fill, I'll paint him a rosy picture first. Xiao Zuo, stepson of the coffin shop owner, your mother has a new young son and won't care if you live or die, but you are good at business. You can totally support yourself. You shouldn't stay in the coffin shop, nor should you stay in this bitter cold place. You should go out into the wider world and become who you want to be. Xiao Zuo, follow me from now on, and I'll make you rise to the top. The condition is, you must be loyal to me. I want to monopolize the Daong trade routes. In this life, Xiao Zuo shouldn't be my rival. He can only be a fierce general under my command. Immense wealth is also a disaster. Making him my underling is also to protect him. Let me bear the danger of being the richest person all on my own. I really am a living bodhisattva. The Xiao Zuo of this year has neither vast wealth nor sky-high abilities, cold and hungry. He has no choice but to sign the deed of servitude, completely becoming my loyal dog. On the way back to the capital with Xiao Zuo, I had people dig 3 feet into the ground to find a girl named Wen Ruyu in a beggar's den outside Shangjing. Xiao Zuo has been by my side for nearly a month now. The boy is very shrewd, and his dress and manner of speech have changed drastically. Seeing how much I cared about Wen Ruyu, he actually got jealous. Master, why do you care so much about that girl? Why else? Wen Ruyu, the real daughter of the Prime Minister's manor, who was lost to the outside world, would later become the consort who topped the 6 palaces in favor. The son she bore became the next crown prince. Naturally, I had to rescue her in advance. I smiled and stroked the boy's top knot, quite gently, because I am kind-hearted and can't bear to see others suffer. When Ruyu was found, I even specially ordered people to send silver to the beggar's den. When Ruyu smiled, her eyes sparkling, smiling right into one's heart. No wonder she would become a favored consort. I treated her gently and let her call me sister. Good girl, you've suffered. From now on, Big Sister will protect you. The concubine of the Prime Minister's manor secretly swapped the babies and threw her, the real daughter, into a beggar's den outside the city. It was simply deranged. I just can't stand seeing things like that. After Wen Ruyu changed into new clothes and cleaned up, she actually had a bit of the air of a noble daughter. Xiaozuo started acting weird. She gets to call you sister, so why can I only call you master? Huh? This guy is pushing his luck. In the past life, he was my nemesis. So in this life, of course I have to keep him under my thumb. Once he rises to power, his final outcome is just one word: death. I am saving him. I slapped Xiaozuo. What? Is asking you to call me master making things hard for you? Xiaozuo's face was slapped to the side, but far from being angry. The youth pressed the tip of his tongue against the inside of his cheek. He smiled, raising a brow slightly. Good hit, master. I overstepped. What a real troublemaker. Only a saint like me would take him in. Back in Shangjing, a trusted aide quickly came to report. Only then did I learn that Song Linan had used his past life memories to earn merit several times. He finally got to hold his head high again. Besides, to suppress her half-sister, Madame Song got a concubine for Song Linan. That concubine is the very woman who gave birth to a son for me in my previous life. In my last life, I lived to be 80, and she served by my side until 80. In this life, without me to protect the Song family, what will become of her? Even if that child is born, they won't have a good ending. I want to stop this tragedy from happening. So I ordered someone to hijack the concubine's bridal sedan. This concubine was a tofu beauty. She was chosen by Madame Song because of her beauty and curvaceous figure. Tofu Shishi originally had a young carpenter for a sweetheart. In his previous life, the young carpenter never married, aging into an old carpenter. He worked as a helper at the Song mansion all along, watching over the tofu beauty for a lifetime. Truly a love that moves heaven and earth. I simply must help them be together. When Tofu Shishi and the little carpenter met again, the two hugged each other and cried bitterly. I urged, "It is getting late. Hurry onto the boat and head south. If you don't leave now, you'll be caught by the Song family and taken back. The silver here is enough for the two of you to settle down in Jiangnan." Tofu Shishi's family sold their daughter for glory. Naturally, she could no longer return to her maiden home. The two of them knelt before me in unison, deeply grateful. "Benefactor, if there is a next life, we will surely serve you like cattle and horses." "That won't be necessary. I do good deeds without expecting anything in return." Watching Tofu Shishi and the little carpenter board the boat and leave, I finally felt relieved. I said to Xiaozuo and Wen Ruyu beside me, "See that? Living in this world, you have to do good. Only kind people get good rewards." The two of them obediently agreed. "Sister, I understand." "Master, I understand too." "Very good, accumulated more merit today." Half a month later, I went to the east side of the city. In an alley, I saw someone forcing the illegitimate son of the general's manor to suffer the humiliation of crawling between their legs. A mistress's son. Yet, you dare claim to be an heir of the general's manor? Crawl through this young master's legs, and I'll let you off. The boy was none other than the god of war from my past life, Luo Zhan. He would become the new emperor's right-hand man. I didn't stop it directly. Just as Luo Zhan was about to crawl through his legs, only then did I speak up to stop it. I want him to remember the humiliation of this moment. Otherwise, how can he truly grow up? Stop. I waved my hand, letting the guards go over to pull out Luo Zhan, who was halfway through crawling under someone's crotch. A few rich playboys still wanted to cause trouble, so I directly gave the order. Beat them to death. Beat them until they can't get up. You have to teach them a good lesson. That is the only way they'll remember. Luo Zhan was brought before me. I wiped his face with a handkerchief. "Luo Zhan, right? The general's manor has no place for you, so just stay by my side." The boy's throat bobbed, and his eyes grew moist. What a good kid. One day he will command a massive army, and with his protection, my business empire will expand infinitely. I can almost see mountains of gold and silver smiling at me. Because Song Linan's concubine eloped with someone. My older half-sister thought she had won a round. She had no idea that it was my doing. On this day, my concubine, born elder sister, returned home for a visit, and she and the concubine mocked me together. I kept my mouth shut, giving the two of them ample opportunity to scold me. After all, opportunities like this are rare. Although second miss is legitimate, her reputation is ruined, so it will be hard to marry her off. I heard second sister picked up 3 beggars and brought them back. Since when did second sister start liking picking up trash? I quietly watched the concubine. And my concubine, born sister. So arrogant. How can someone be so wicked? When the Prime Minister's wife arrived, the concubine and my concubine, born sister, were still chattering endlessly. The Prime Minister's wife rushed over, glanced at Wenruyu behind me, then stepped forward and slapped the concubine. My biological daughter? Is she the beggar you speak of? Wenruyu and the Prime Minister's wife looked like they were carved from the same mold. The Prime Minister's wife pulled Wenruyu into her arms. Today, I had someone send a secret letter to the Prime Minister's wife in advance. The letter has already made everything clear. At this moment, concubine and my half-sister were stunned. After crying, the Prime Minister's wife launched into a tirade against the concubines in the Prime Minister's residence. That vile woman, Aunt Jo, actually switched my daughter with hers. I'll sell her off, so she can't live, but she won't die either. Just then, seeing my own concubine trembling, I asked out of kindness, "Concubine, what are you afraid of? It is not like you switched the babies." The concubine staggered, looking at me as if I were a monster. After this incident, I became the benefactor of the Prime Minister's manor. The Prime Minister's wife even adopted me as her foster daughter. Although Wenruyu returned to the Prime Minister's manor, she still came to see me from time to time, calling me sister with every breath. I was perfectly content after all. She is the most noble Empress Dowager of decades later. In the days that followed, I continued secretly delivering supplies to the second prince. The second prince also wrote back to me, between the lines of the letter. He was stating how grateful he was to me. I only replied, telling him there was no need for thanks. Only by asking for nothing in return would he give even more. Of course, the main reason I don't want repayment is still because I am kind. Otherwise, what? Within half a year, I opened medical clinics, martial arts, schools, restaurants. I recruited talent far and wide, further expanding my business empire. Gradually, people forgot that I was once the woman whose engagement was broken off by Song Linan. The day has come for my half-sister to give birth. Her hips are narrow, so a difficult birth is inevitable. I brought a doctor with me to the door, only to be shut out. Song Linan even blocked my way personally. He is riding high right now, standing on the stone steps, practically looking at me through his nostrils. I reminded him, "Brother-in-law, I can see your nose hair. Such a fine jade. Like gentlemen, how could he pay not even a shred of attention to his grooming? And he is the emperor's favorite, too." Song Linan stomped his feet and cursed at me again. "You vicious woman, what kind of stunt are you trying to pull again?" The number of passers-by coming and going gradually increased. I was full of sincerity. Eldest sister is going into labor today. I specifically brought a doctor to help her smoothly give birth to a son. "Brother-in-law, why are you blocking me?" Hearing this, Song Linan looked like he had heard the biggest joke. "How can a man be allowed to examine a woman giving birth? You are simply absurd." Very soon, a servant came to report, "Young lord, it is bad. The young madam is hemorrhaging." I knew this would happen. I insisted on going in, but Song Linan still blocked me. "When women give birth, who doesn't suffer some pain? She'll be fine in a moment. Don't make a fuss." I was shocked. I couldn't understand. I was anxious, my older half. Sister was the one he sought but couldn't have in his previous life. How could he just let my older half-sister die? The crowd of onlookers grew larger. Not long after, an old woman came running, stumbling and staggering. "My lord, it is bad. The young mistress, she, is gone. The child is gone too. I cried bitterly, pointing at Song Linan and cursing, my poor eldest sister. You died so miserably. It was brother-in-law who wouldn't allow me to save you. Brother-in-law, you are the truly vicious one. The people were furious, and some threw rotten vegetable leaves at Song Linan. He stood frozen like a big, dumb goose, muttering, "How could this be? It shouldn't be like this." Song Linan turned and stumbled back into the manor. As for me, I cried and complained the whole way. That very day, the whole city knew that Song Linan had caused the death of the Wei family daughter. Hearing the news, the concubine fainted. When she woke up, she had become a simpleton, hugging a pillow and calling it, "Darling. Little darling, make me proud. You will surely marry up. A woman must use all her strength to climb the social ladder. I could only be a concubine, but my little darling must be the main wife of a noble house." I glanced at the concubine, waved my hand, and had her locked up. It is all the concubine's fault. When mother was giving birth, she ran to the delivery room and shot off her mouth, causing the deaths of mother and my younger brother. She also raised my elder half sister wrong. Even though I used every ounce of my strength, I couldn't save my elder half sister. However, looking on the bright side, since my elder half sister died early, she won't have to experience the calamity of the Song family's extermination. Isn't this, in a way, a stroke of good luck? The second prince has returned to the capital in triumph, a year earlier than in the previous life. He is about to officially begin the battle for the throne. He met with me privately. That man's pair of dark eyes seemed to be glowing. I handed the brocade box filled with silver bills directly to him. "Your Highness, I know you are currently in need of silver. I am willing to offer my humble assistance, probably because I was too generous." The second prince got the wrong idea. He grabbed my hand. He looked excited, his emotions stirring. "Since my mother consort died, no one in this world has treated me this well. Wei Yan, Ah Yan, I definitely won't let you down in this life. Those people who have bullied you in the past, I won't let a single one of them off either." I was shocked and immediately pulled back my hand. Wen Ruyu is the second prince's true love in this life. I wanted to be his sister-in-law, but he is hitting on me. In the future, the man before my eyes will have the 3 palaces and 6 courtyards. The harem is truly not suitable for such a kind-hearted woman like me. I tactfully declined the second prince's kindness. "Your Highness has misunderstood. I just couldn't bear to see your Highness be buried, and I admire your Highness's character. I have never had any other intentions." The second prince held my hand again. His sharp, dark eyes were now filled with tenderness. "Ah, Yan, I understand. You were thinking only of me with your whole heart. How could I let you down? Just wait for me. Soon I will make sure no one in the world dares to say a word against you." Huh? He really misunderstood. The second prince took the banknotes and left me the jade pendant he always carried with him. He worked vigorously to strengthen himself and fought actively. Just a few months ago, he had the Crown Prince's faction unable to hold their ground. Everything that was supposed to happen in the previous life has come early. Half a year later, the Empress and the Crown Prince fell from power. Naturally, the Song family of the Duke's manor couldn't escape total ruin. The second prince thought I loathed Song Linan. He beat Song Linan half to death, and even invited me to enjoy the show. "Ah Yan, this man isn't worth it. He let your devotion go to waste, mistaking fish eyes for pearls. He deserves to end up like this." When I saw Song Linan, he no longer looked human. I walked a little closer. After all, we were husband and wife in our past life. I want to give him some end of life care. Song Linan struggled to open his eyes, and a sudden trace of clarity surged in his cloudy eyes. His voice was extremely low. Did you come back too?" I shrugged. "I told you long ago, I am beautiful and kind-hearted. I wouldn't hurt anyone, but you guys just wouldn't listen." I lowered my voice and said in a voice only the 2 of us could hear, In the previous life, trading you alone for the entire Song family. You died for a righteous cause and could even die for love for elder sister. What a wonderful thing. Sigh. Now look what has happened. The entire Song household can't be saved. Look at this mess. Song Linan spurted out a mouthful of blood. Good thing I dodged fast. The entire Song family was sentenced to be beheaded. Not a single one was saved. Without me, it just doesn't work. The new emperor ascends the throne. When Ruyu, as the true daughter of the prime minister's residence, was the most qualified person to be crowned empress. The prime minister's residence had the merit of aiding the emperor's ascent. The prime minister also wanted to send his daughter into the palace, because everything in this life happened 3 years earlier than in the previous one. Wen Ruyu is only 13 this year and hasn't come of age yet. The new emperor clearly isn't interested in her either. I have a very ominous feeling in my heart. Sure enough, the new emperor summoned me to the palace. He wanted to seek my opinion, so he met me alone in the imperial garden. He is already 25. The harem is temporarily empty, and the officials are all petitioning him to fill the harem in the previous life. He was quite a capable emperor. Although there were many concubines in the harem, they didn't cause much trouble. He had over 10 princes and several princesses. He counts as an emperor with abundant offspring. Before the new emperor could speak, I smiled first and said, "Your Majesty, the flowers in this imperial garden are truly beautiful, but it is a pity. They are all carefully pruned, lacking charm. I actually prefer wildflowers that grow freely." The new emperor frowned. He rubbed the thumb ring on his thumb, pointedly saying, Yan, I am already the emperor, the master of the world. I just want to get what I want." I hurriedly chimed in, "But a forced melon isn't sweet. Bitter fruit will only make life more bitter. Wouldn't it be better for everyone to find their own happiness? I am also quite helpless. Although I am greedy for money and lustful. If I were to enter the palace, I am afraid I would make the other concubines live in constant fear. I am so beautiful and kind-hearted, others would only feel ashamed of their inferiority. I really don't want to cause a bloodbath in the harem." The new emperor wasn't resigned and wanted to say something more, but I grabbed his hand, staring at him with burning intensity. "Your Majesty, romantic love between men and women is destined to start beautifully, but end in tears sooner or later. But the bond between confidants never fades. I view Your Majesty as my lifelong confidant, and I will spare no effort for Your Majesty's grand ambitions." I took out a map and informed the emperor of my business expansion plan. "Your Majesty, look wherever my caravans go. The flag of Daeyong will be planted. As long as I am here, the national treasury will absolutely not be empty, and the frontier will certainly not lack silver. Your Majesty and I are confidants. I will remain unsung, being the woman behind Your Majesty, acting as your solid backing. Confidants can't sleep together. Besides, there are so many young gentlemen out there waiting for me to save them. How could I hole up in the harem? A magnificent woman like me should become the support for multitudes of young gentlemen." The emperor's eyes turned red. I guess he was moved by me. Side story, the new emperor let me out of the palace. The Wei family had stronger women than men. After my father retired from office, the Wei family took to the path of commerce. In less than 3 years, I became the head of the Wei family, as well as the head of the imperial merchants. The year when Ruyu turned 16, she still entered the palace. Unlike the previous life, the emperor did not expand the harem. Apart from Empress Wen, there were only 4 concubines. Wen Ruyu also didn't go through fierce palace struggles and became empress directly. But on the day of the emperor and empress's wedding, I was summoned into the palace. The emperor and empress looked at me with beaming smiles, making me feel uncomfortable all over. Empress Wen said, "Sister, you've just returned from the western regions and have grown quite thin. Why not stay in the palace for a few more days?" The emperor, "What the empress says is very true. Yan, I also miss you very much. It isn't quite appropriate for 3 people to stay in the wedding room, is it? Won't the wedding bed be a bit crowded? Fortunately, the newly appointed god of war, Luo Zhan, entered the palace just in time. As expected of the concubine, born son of the general's manor whom I raised, he is like a wolf now. I just swept a glance over, and he understood completely. Your Majesty, Empress, I have an urgent matter to discuss with the Wei family head. It concerns the western region border and brooks no delay. In the end, Luo Zhan successfully got me out of the palace. As soon as we got in the carriage, Luo Zhan suddenly grabbed my wrist. Sister, don't come into the palace so casually from now on. It is not like you don't know what the emperor is thinking. I yanked my wrist free with force and glared at him. I know. Luo Zhan pursed his lips, staring at me with falcon-like eyes. Sister, Xiao Zuo is 18. At his age, he is bound to have a lot of thoughts. You have to be on your guard, sister. Luo Zhan's noise was giving me a headache. The carriage finally arrived outside the main gate of the Wei residence, and Xiao Zuo's low voice drifted over, sounding gloomy and sinister. Young General Luo, just hand the master over to me. You please go back. I was just about to step off the carriage when Luo Zhan scooped me up by the waist and carried me down. Xiao Zuo immediately stepped forward to snatch me. Xiao Zuo? Young General Luo, hand the family head over to me. Luo Zhan blew a whistle. It is the same if I send sister into the residence. I felt a bit mentally exhausted. It was as if I had returned to my previous life, where the gentlemen around me fought jealously for decades. It can't be helped. Blame it all on me being overly beautiful and kind-hearted.